New information coming to light this morning about a Swiss bank and an under-the-radar American billionaire who invented a very famous product. Eamon Javers is here with the latest edition of the Javers Files. Eamon?
Good morning, Becky. CNBC has learned that billionaire 5-hour energy entrepreneur Manoj Bhargava allegedly maintained undeclared bank accounts worth hundreds of millions of dollars at the Swiss bank Pictet. Now, that's according to documents cited by Senate Finance Committee Chairman Ron Wyden in a letter sent Wednesday to the bank's managing partner in Geneva. The letter does not name Bhargava, instead referring to him as Person 1, but a source familiar with the investigation and documents reviewed by CNBC confirm that Bhargava is the account holder at issue here. Now, Wyden says he has received documents from a whistleblower not identified in the letter who has information about Bhargava's alleged scheme to avoid U.S. taxes on his personal fortune that was largely built on the sale of the tiny bottles of highly caffeinated liquid at retailers across the country. Bhargava's company, 5-Hour Energy, is based in Michigan. In the letter, Wyden writes that Bhargava account received a deposit of about $255 million in 2013, but the account was zeroed out at the end of that year. Wyden's letter alleges that Bhargava transferred the funds to a Bahamas entity nominally owned by another individual, identified as Person 2 in the letter, but the funds were actually under Bhargava's control. An attorney for Bhargava said he had no comment on the letter. A spokesperson for Pictet referred CNBC to a statement that it made back in December when the Swiss bank came to a resolution with the U.S. Department of Justice over its American clients. That statement said, in part, this resolution follows Pictet's extensive cooperation with U.S. authorities in full compliance with U.S. law. The DOJ recognizes this substantial assistance in the resolution agreement. The bank said it turned over to the Department of Justice information on 1,109 accounts and 1,236 names with aggregated assets of almost $9 billion. Wyden says foreign bank account reporting filings by Bhargava to the IRS did not accurately reflect his control over the Swiss accounts. Now, under U.S. law, remember, Americans are allowed to have foreign bank accounts, but they must file so-called FBAR forms with the IRS disclosing the assets, and they must pay appropriate related taxes. Bhargava, who was born in India, is a U.S. citizen and conducts business in the suburbs of Detroit. And guys, Wyden writes in this letter that the allegations against Bhargava and Person 2, if true, could involve potentially the largest individual FBAR penalty in U.S. history. He said the highest penalty ever paid to the IRS to date is $100 million. Back over to you guys.
The idea that this happened in 2013, I'm trying to think back when Swiss bank laws kind of cracked down a little bit. Was that surrounding that era, that time? So
yeah, that was as early as 2008.
Okay.
And this bank, Pictet, did not settle with the DOJ until December of 2023, so very recently. They were one of the latest ones to come in from the cold, so to speak. And one of the big questions here is whether Manoj Bhargava of 5-Hour Energy, whether his name was among those names that was turned over to the Department of Justice as part of that settlement. That's something that we don't know. And we don't know whether there's an ongoing investigation. Wyden's letter suggests that there was a criminal investigation into the Bhargava matter by the Department of Justice and the IRS, but we don't know the status of that right now, Becky.